Hey everybody, it's Amelia, obviously. I know I haven't done a video in a really long time, but I got some requests. I put up a makeup look using my Monsters Bride palette by MAC. The cover's all disgusting. So yeah, my Monsters Bride palette by MAC, and a few of you wanted to see a tutorial with this palette to see what I did, but also I saw a few people say that they loved my brows and they wanted to know what I did for my brows, and they had brow envy. So I figured I'm gonna do a brow video because that should be pretty quick and simple, right? At least I think so. Okay, so anyways, first things first, grooming. Grooming is huge when you are, you know, trying to shape your brows. Now, over the years, just by looking at mine, I have overplucked in the past. So it's left me with some really nice gaps and holes that really shouldn't be there. So like if you look over here, I've got like a really nice chunk out. Over here, it doesn't really grow straight. Same thing on the other side. I've got a nice little chunk out of there, a nice little chunk out of here. Right in between here and here, it really doesn't grow so thick anymore. So while I have a nice brow shape template, I need to do something with them because I feel really naked with brows like this. So I've been starting to kind of tweeze my eyebrows a little bit just under here. I would wax my eyebrows, but sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it would like leave little scabs. I have very sensitive skin, so I have to be kind of careful. So yeah, so I've just been kind of doing like little home maintenance, you know, like taking care of in between here. Like, you know, I can see there's a couple hairs in there, so I'm just going to go in and tweeze them. Same thing under here. I don't want to make them too thin because then I'd look really surprised. And I don't want that. I don't want to look surprised. So now that I've kind of got the shape that I want, I like to have like a little bit of an arch to my eyebrows. I'm just going to go through and touch them up with some powder. Now, you can use pencils. I do have a pencil here somewhere. Where is it? Here it is. I have the Anastasia Brow Wiz. This one's in medium ash. I also have one in brunette that I like to use. So these are great. It has a little retractable pencil on one end. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then it has a spoolie on the other. So you can just kind of go through, brush your brows into place before you go and pencil them in. And then also what I like to do when I use this is after I pencil them in, I'll kind of go through and, you know, brush them again just to kind of diffuse the color a little bit. I don't know. I like to do that. I feel like it makes it look a little softer. But lately I have been using powder. I have been using two different ones. I will use Brune, which is this dark brown by MAC. And then I've also been mixing that with, I think it's Espresso. Yeah, Espresso by MAC. Espresso and Brune, I mean, this is has a little more of a red tone than Brune does. Naturally, I don't know if you guys can see, but I have naturally I have some red pigments in my hair, some copper pigments. So I like to have my brows dark, but I also like to put some warmth into them too, I guess. So it looks a little more realistic. So now the type of brush that I use when I do my brows, I use an angled brush. And I have two here just to show you. I have a MAC 263, which is just a nice angled brush. It's nice and soft. And then I have like a really stiff one by Real Techniques, and this is just their brow brush. Has a nice angle to it. Like I said, it's a little stiffer than the MAC one. And also, if you have thinner brows, this might not be the greatest brush for you because it has kind of I don't know if you guys can tell, it has kind of, let me if I get closer. It has kind of a thicker end to it than the MAC one does. The MAC one is very skinny, and the Real Techniques one is a little thicker. Now, I like to use the Real Technique one mainly because it kind of saves me time because I like my brows to be a little thicker. So I can just kind of go, and then, all right, I'm done basically. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to tap, I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see? Probably not. I probably should have gotten out my palette for this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tap my brush in one, and I'm going to kind of pounce it in, stipple it in, and I'm going to do it in the other, and I'm going to kind of go back and forth a little bit so I can get both those pigments on there. I'm going to tap off the excess. And then I'm going to kind of start on my bottom line. I'm going to start right in front here, not exactly right here. I like to start a little farther back. Reason being, I like this to be a little diffused in front. I don't like it to be really thick and really heavy. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to kind of lightly feather in a line underneath, and I'm following the line of my brow naturally underneath. Now right here, where I have that little gap that I was telling you guys about, I'm going to kind of push it. So that way it looks like I filled in that line where that stupid gap is. Then I'm just going to kind of take it and I'm going to pull it down a little bit. And I like to extend my brows a little bit. Another way to find out where your brow is supposed to end, you take your pencil, excuse me, not your pencil, your brush, you put it up against the edge of your nose and the corner of your eye, and that should be where your brow stops, right there. So as you can see, that's pretty much where I've ended it. So I'm going to go back in with a little more product, and up here it's kind of sparse, so I'm just going to kind of fill in that line a little bit. And again, just kind of pushing the product on. I'm not necessarily like dragging a line. So then I'm just going to kind of do it over here. Fill in this little blank space. And as you can already see, it's starting to take shape a little bit. So then I'm going to get some more product. And if you make a mistake, like if you overdraw it a little bit on top, just take your finger and wipe it away. It should wipe away pretty easily. Okay, so now we get to the front. Now sometimes I like to turn my brush straight up and down and lightly feather it back. You can also turn it on the side and feather it up. Okay, so that's one brow done. Pretty easy. I'm just going to go ahead and do the other one really quickly so you can really see like how quickly I do it. So again, following that line. Oops. And again, if you're in question, check. That looks good to me. Now, brows aren't necessarily supposed to be 100% symmetrical, because really, nobody's brows or face is 100% symmetrical. You know, we've all got one side that's a little higher than the other. One side that might be, you know, you might have one hooded eye and one almond-shaped eye. You know, we're all different. We're all different. But I personally like to try to make my brows look about as symmetrical as possible. I also have a mirror behind my camera, so what I'm doing is I'm looking at the mirror close to me, and then I'm looking at the mirror behind the camera, so that way I can kind of see, like, okay, you know, is one come in a little farther? This one looks a little darker in front than the other. Okay, so my camera decided to die, so I don't know how much of that it got. But anyway, so that's my brows finished. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. I'm so out of practice. I forgot what I'm supposed to say. Comment down below if you have any kind of question at all. Give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. I will be coming out with a tutorial using the Monsters Bride palette by MAC. I don't know how many of you have it, but I will say all these colors that are in this palette, they're all permanent colors of the collection. So really you could just get any of these. So yeah, please stay tuned for that. Also, I always put up a lot of pictures of makeup on Instagram, so you can follow me on Instagram at The Hollow Queen. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's it. So anyways, I hope this was helpful and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.